Hey, I'm Jimmy Lee Lard, and I thought I would bring you along on a journey with me as I whip this yard into shape. I wanted you to see sort of where it started and how it's turned out so far. It's still early in spring for us here in Wisconsin, and things are looking pretty bright, so I just wanted to share that with you. I purchased a 120-year-old house, and in the dead of winter, so late December, and I had no idea what was underneath all of the snow here. So I really had to work this yard from scratch. It started out as a very flat yard, and it has come a long way in about the last month or so since the snow melted. Sheesh. So, welcome to Wisconsin gardening. All right, so I just wanted to bring you on this journey with me. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things along the way, and I just hope that you'll enjoy some of it. All right. Before I take you on a tour, it's probably a good idea to show you what it looked like before. So this is after the snow melted. You can see how flat the yard is. So I started by purchasing all of the more structural plants that I thought I would need, all of the feature plants and so on, weeping pussy willow, Japanese maple, and so on. So all of those I purchased very early on. And as you can see, the yard is very flat. There were no garden beds at all. So I had to then add those. But before I could add those, I had to deal with this lawn. So it was heavily thatched. I don't know what maintenance the previous owners did, but there was a lot of thatch and a ton of leaves in this yard. So the first thing I had to do was get that taken care of. Then I could go ahead and create the garden beds. So I have some separate videos on the garden beds, but I started to create sort of this serpentine bed that snaked all around the yard. And I went ahead and added in all those structural plants. So the lawn, though, I had to get it together. So I had to get it weeded out. I had to get some feed. So I chose to use Milorganite since it's a Wisconsin company. And true enough, this is the result. So my beds. I start off with the first garden bed, and I call this one P.S. I Love You. And the P.S. is for part sun, because that's exactly what all these plants require. It's anchored by this Japanese maple in the center here, and then some yews in there, along with some kind of cloa grass. And then as we move around next to the pot there, we have a panicle hydrangea. And from this bed, we transition with some roses into the next bed that I call interference, the interference garden, because it is there to block all those Green Bay Packers garbage cans from my neighbor's yard, as well as the neighbor's car pad in the back. So hopefully those plants will grow up. But it then leads over into the shade garden. So here I have an antique bird cage with some flowers planted in it, but mostly hostas, Japanese fern, along with some astilbe, and just a few other shade-loving plants, with the exception of the corner, which does get a lot of sun. So I have some sun-loving plants next to the fence, including that elegant feather, which gets pretty tall. Those things can get up to 8 feet tall. So then finally, that brings us to the patio garden over here. So I installed this patio, and there is a separate video for that as well. Using Quickcrete, the sand topping mix, along with some premium river rock. But this is where my zen space is. So large planters there give me a lot of privacy, so that I'm able to sit back there and just enjoy the yard. And that's the whole point of this particular garden. So this sort of brings us full circle with the garden. So as I, take a look around the yard and, consider where it started from and where it's ended up, I can't be more happy. This is obviously the first season. So when I bought it, it was obviously just a flat yard. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll like and subscribe so you can go on this journey with me. Thanks.